I watched Guardians of the Galaxy for the second time. That's a statement that I need to say because this is part of my Marvel journey where I, as a Marvel amateur, am watching all of the films in order, and I believe this is the first one that I actually saw ever. I had also seen Captain America, for example, but I'd watched that after this one originally. But when I sat down to watch this, all I could remember is that I really liked it. That's all I could remember about it. Having rewatched it, I can now say that that makes sense. I really thoroughly enjoyed it the second time around, and it's quite interesting to have this kind of fresh universe and fresh mix of problems because up until now, pretty much all of the films have been connected in some way, all kind of connected through the Avengers and branching off in different directions, whereas Guardians of the Galaxy is fresh meat. This was released in 2014. It's directed by James Gunn. And we have a fantastic cast. Primarily, we have Chris Pratt as our protagonist, Peter Quill. Vin Diesel voices Groot. Zoe Saldana as Gamora. Bradley Cooper as the very cute Rocket. Karen Gillan as Nebula. John C. Reilly, Glenn Close, Laura Haddock, which I hadn't actually realised. Peter Serafinowicz. Really brilliant casting. The narrative itself is also something that I found quite easy to follow, and I say that because Marvel has a tendency to overcomplicate things. As the films progress, as I saw with Avengers, or the films surrounding the Avengers, the films are kind of written for the fans. So there's a lot of terminology, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of things that if you've only seen the films once, you kind of maybe find it hard to keep up with. But Guardians of the Galaxy, being fresh meat, was quite easy to follow, and well, the description from IMDb doesn't actually say much. This is a group of intergalactic criminals must pull together to stop a fanatical warrior with plans to purge the universe. Basically, Peter Quill was, we learn at the beginning, what looks like abducted by aliens, to put it in the most basic way possible. And he is now scavenging for scrap, allegedly. But there's also this stone, which is not the right term for it. It's an orb. That's the word I was looking for. And basically everybody wants this orb, and Quill has this, but one thing leads to another, and he and Gamora, Rocket and Groot, and Drax also end up being arrested. Not necessarily related to this, there's a big kind of scuffle. Rocket and Groot being bounty hunters, I think, absolutely adorable. And they're imprisoned, but they need to try and escape. And basically, the wrong person, this character called Ronan, who is going to try and get hold of this and destroy the universe and ruin everybody's lives and, you know, make everybody have a really bad day because of it. It's a lot more complicated than that, but the fact that I can even slightly summarise it means that I understood what I was watching, which is so thrilling because with the last few Marvel films, I've been like, okay, I can't remember who that person was that you're talking about, and I can't remember what that planet was. I had to do a lot of recapping. Guardians of the Galaxy was a much more relaxing watch, but what I love about this, there are two things that I particularly love about this. Three things. First thing I love are the makeup, costuming, absolutely fantastic. The characters look incredible, particularly Gamora. She looks incredible. Any character that's meant to look a little bit more alien or scientific or sci-fi, they look sensational. The second thing I love, the set designs, the scenery, any use of CGI that shows kind of vast landscapes. The buildings look incredible. I haven't looked at any behind the scenes footage of the set designs, but I'm going to have to see what's CGI and what's real because it's just gorgeous. Visually, a very delightful film. And the third thing I love, the fourth thing, see, it's incredible. I keep thinking of things that I love. The third of the four things that I love is the soundtrack. This easily has one of the best soundtracks of any film ever, and certainly it has the best soundtrack of any Marvel film so far. It's utterly ridiculous. Most of the music is from the 80s, or maybe the 70s, and it's a lot of fun. I won't spoil it, but there's a particular dancing scene that Quill does that I thought was pretty fantastic and a lot of fun. And that's the fourth thing I love about this. The comedy. It is genuinely funny. Yes, some of the Marvel films, most of the Marvel films in fact, have a bit of witty dialogue, one-liners where the characters are being a bit sarcastic or and they're making snide remarks at somebody else, and that's a little bit witty. But this is genuinely laugh out loud funny. It's warm, it's exciting, but it's action-packed. And you couple that with amazing CGI, fantastic makeup, and a narrative that I can actually follow. I can't fault it. The first time I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, I probably didn't get as much out of it as I did this second time, because I just think I was in the right frame of mind for it this time. But I truly adored it. I can't fault it. For me, it is the greatest Marvel film that I've seen so far. I have seen several that came after this, including the second Guardians of the Galaxy. Ooh, do I prefer the second one or this one? Well, I will leave that decision until I've rewatched the second one, but Baby Groot is just incredible. But either way, Guardians of the Galaxy, I loved it first time. I assumed I would love it this second time, and I wasn't wrong. Definitely, so far, in my opinion, the best Marvel film.